All right, well, anyway, most of my better lessons are the ones that I put together because I have gotten into a debate with somebody or something. And this is one of them, which I didn't really fully put it together, but I'm going to just go ahead and read all the scriptures that I was able to put together for it. And this is called righteousness or self-righteousness. Remember how long ago I talked about that? A long time ago, right? But I never did teach it, whatever. But that's what we're going to do. We're just going to read a few passages in regarding this subject. And the reason why, because I have ran into a few people who, the scripture do say this in Matthew 5th chapter. It says, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. But when you make a declaration and say, hey, I'm perfect, I've not done anything, I'm perfect, then you done already transgressed the commandment. Mm-hmm. Because when he says be ye perfect, he wants our heart to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And in a perfect heart, like David has a testimony of having a perfect heart, but yet he slipped up. Mm-hmm. Because the truth of the matter is, and people can disagree with this what they want, that as long as you are in this flesh and blood body, you are subject. Yes. Not saying you have to. I ain't saying you have to, but you are absolutely subject to err in some kind of way. Mm-hmm. It could be either in your thoughts, it could be in anything. Mm-hmm. But we have to, as servants of the Most High, seek after perfection. We have to seek after it the best way that we can. Even Job, who has a testimony out of the mouth of the Creator as being perfect, even he, when he was going through what he was going through, he slipped up. And the Father had to come at him, at the end of it. Well, came at him through the younger brother named Elihu. But the point is that didn't erase the testimony of Job, because he still had a perfect heart before YAH. And the Father was able to say, look, that dude there, you're not going to get him, And he slipped up because he allowed his friends to bombard him with these words of, you sinned. That's why you in this condition you in. You messed up. So now he started questioning stuff, and then he started questioning the Father in the process. So, but the point is, by record, he was a perfect dude. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna just read a few scriptures in regarding that. Let's go on to Isaiah, the 64th chapter. Isaiah 64, and again, this is called righteousness or self-righteousness. There is a difference between the two. Isaiah 64, and we're gonna start this reading at right to the point. We're gonna start this at the 6th verse. Isaiah 64 and verse 6.
For we are all like an unclean thing, and all our unrighteousness.
Our righteousness.
And all our righteousness are like filthy rags. We all fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. And there is no one who calls on your name, who stirs himself up to take hold of you. For you have hidden your face from us, and have consumed us because of our iniquities. Mm-hmm. But now, O Yahuwah, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you are our potter, and all we are the work of your hands.
Hallelujah. At the end of the day, that's just a humble passage right there. All our righteousness is absolutely as filthy rags. And we absolutely seek that righteousness, but at the end of the day, it's the Father that absolutely does the cleaning and the forgiving and the mercy and all that we all stand in the need of. Because like it says here, that our iniquities is the reason why we are in the position that we're in, collectively. Okay? Let's go on to 2 Kings, the 5th chapter. not going to take long at all.
2 Kings or what?
2 Kings, the 5th chapter.
We had to use had to learn the Bible verses by singing in church.
Oh, yeah.
We'll learn it.
Start this off at the first verse.
Now Naaman, commander of the army of the king of...
Oh, yours a commander? You know what? Here, read mine. This must be the new one. Yup.
No idea.
That's what it is. The ESV.
I could have just changed it to Red Captain.
Huh? No, I just want you to read it.
Now Naaman, captain of the host of...
I'm not going to ask you to read her Bible.
It says commander.
This one says commander too, yeah.
Okay. That's right. Because captain is a what's the word? Is a rank. Commander ain't a rank. It's in the Navy, right? In the Navy. Right. Ain't no army rank. Ain't no commander.
We do have commanders.
Where?
Don't hit it on.
In the army?
That's not an army rank.
That's not army.
No,
That's not
it's a
army rank.
commander though. We do have commanders.
You have no. What
We
she talking
have
about? She talking about. She talking about like a company commander. They do call it, but that's
We
not.
call
Really,
that, well, they call it. It's a captain is a
But it's a
right,
commander.
right.
Yeah.
But it's not really a rank.
His
Though.
rank is a captain.
Navy
Okay,
is
but
a
I
rank.
could've-
Nation of the rank.
Right, but I
No, but
could've
that's not
just
what I
said
wanted you to
captain.
do. I'm not gonna. It ain't no problem. I just want you to read it out of KJV. That's all.
We have commanders. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Okay. Well, let me ask you. What's the E rank of a commander?
Command
This is a
sergeant
YouTube
major.
video right now.
Command
YouTube
sergeant
video.
major is the highest you go.
Right, that's E8 or E9.
E9.
Yeah. That's command sergeant major. We have commanders.
So if I just call him a sergeant major, that's
You have
incorrect.
to say command sergeant major. I'm sorry.
Are all sergeant majors command sergeant majors?
No, they
I know
only
they not. That's
E9.
right. So go ahead and read that.
Y'all cute. Real cute.
Doesn't make any difference. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and honorable. Because of him, Yahuwah had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel and a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would Elohim my master were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him from his leprosy. And one went in and told his master, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now when this letter is come unto you, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may recover him from his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, am I Elohim, or am I YAH, to kill and make alive, that this man thus sent unto me to recover a man of his leprosy?
You know what? I have to go back. Not that I have to do it now. I just did. In Kings, it's funny when I see when he calls him king of Israel. This is Ahab is talking about. And for some reason, Ahab was so wicked to the father that he just stopped calling him by his name and just started calling him the king of Israel. It is. It's funny. I had to look. I said, wait a minute. This was Ahab, right? Yep. And that's what he called him, king. He just didn't even want to call him by his name anymore. That's funny, but go ahead.
Wherefore consider, I pray you, and see how you seek a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elisha, the man of Elohim, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore have you rent your clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. And Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall come again to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, behold, I thought he would surely come out to me, and stand and call out on the name of Yahuwah his Elohim, and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage.
So it's just kind of deep how this was what would be considered a stranger, right? And he knew that in order for himself to be healed, he had to seek after this Hebrew prophet in order to do it. Because he could have called on Yah himself if that was the case. But he really couldn't because he had to go. It was just the protocol. So he went to, he sought out for Elisha, and Elisha ended up telling him to, sent a message to him, telling him what to do. And now he's upset because he's like, wait a minute, now, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? That don't even sound right. It do sound kind of crazy, right? But that's what he was told. That's what I'm like, I'd have been like, well, why you sending him to me then? You ain't gonna do what I told him to do. But
He wanted it now.
right. Not only he wanted it now, but he wanted him to come in his presence too. Not to be sending a message back like, like I'm not an important man or something or what,
I'm a
Right.
captain.
Right.
I'm a captain.
All right, go
And
ahead.
his servant came near and spoke unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid
Right.
you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much rather than when he see you wash and be clean?
I just love the way it's written here. It's just so funny how they speak, but that's exactly right. If the prophet had bid you to do something just impossible, you'd have done it quickly. And he told you to do something real simple, and you crying. Go ahead.
Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of Elohim. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of Elohim, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no Elohim in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray you, take a blessing of your servant. But he said, As Yah lives, before whom I stand, I will receive none. He urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray you, be given to your servant 2 mules burden of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other idols, but unto Yahuwah. In this thing Yahuwah pardon thy servant, that when my master goes into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on the hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahuwah pardon thy servant in this thing.
Wow, okay. So here it is, the Father is showing that, he absolutely blessed all his creation, not just Israel, but this Israel prophet absolutely had bidded the Syrian to do X, Y, and Z to be healed, and he did it. And here he's saying, look, I was trying to figure out why I went here, and I was looking for this verse here, and it was right here. Verse 17, it says, And Naaman says, Should not then I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules burdens of the earth, for thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other idols, but unto Yah. Because it was clear that at some point in his life he was serving Syrian idols, right? But now he's like, oh man, I know now that there's the only Elohim on this earth is Yah. So he's like, man, I'm gonna have to, do something about it. But then he said, in this thing, Yahuwah pardon thy servant, that when my master going into the house of Rimmon, that's a pagan deity to worship there, and he leaned on my hand, I bow myself to the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahuwah pardon thy servant in this thing. So, not saying that the Father did, but the dynamic is that in the captivity that we were put in, there were certain things that we had to do based off of the captivity. Right, just like, and I think, what made me read this because you have people arguing about people that work on Shabbat, but you not paying my bills. You not paying my bills. So how you going to judge me because this is the job that I have and I have to go to work on Shabbat? Until I can pay your bills, then you have to do what you have to do. Because see, here's the thing. The commandments that were given to a nation, just use common sense. When the commandments were given to us as a nation, yeah, we do have to keep the commandments. But as a nation, when he gave them the commandments, there was no excuse for you to work on Shabbat because it was the law of the land to work on Shabbat. You go out there and you pick up them sticks and you know the law of the land says you got to give an account of that. Right. Now, I'm obviously not saying that you should break the Shabbat. Because just like me on my job, I could make more money right now because they said, man, we need you to come, but I have a choice. And if I have a choice, I'm not going to go in and make that money. Right. Yeah. Simple as that, But that's what this servant was telling the prophet concerning this, verse 19, read that again.
And he said unto him, go in peace. So he departed from him a little way.
Right. So this is the man of YAH. He wasn't like, well, bro, you ain't supposed to be going up in that church. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the father's going to allow that. He ain't getting into no thing with him. The father judged this heart of this man. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. So again, self-righteous or righteous, which one are we dealing with? Okay? And then reading this, it occurred to me something that really, I done read this 100 times, I'm sure we all have, but it hit me in a specific way when I read that. And that's in Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Yep. The Father had put Israel in the land of captivity among the four quarters of the earth. And here he's, let me see, find it real quick. Deuteronomy 28 chapter, I didn't put it in there. Deuteronomy 28 chapter, and I'm going to be specifically to the point. It must be in the 30s. The 30s, I remember. Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Oh, here you go. Among these nations, no ease. Somebody find that. Really, it's about what? What I'm about to say.
Oh, 37. 37.
What was you about to say?
No, we talked about this once before. When they once they come out of the land, they can, go ahead and do as continue to, continue with the feast and be able to continue with the feast and the Sabbath.
See, y'all being deep, and I ain't even being deep. I'm gonna give you a hint though. I bet you know that. Okay, here it is. It's the 60. It's not in 30. It's the 64th verse. What I'm looking for. 64th verse. What I'm looking for. Deuteronomy 28, 64. I'm sorry, and I apologize for that. Deuteronomy 28 and 64.
And Yahuwah shall scatter you.
You know what? I'm sorry. Read 63rd verse. I'm sorry. Read that.
And it shall come to pass that and it shall come to pass that as Yahuwah rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahuwah will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to nothing. And you shall be plucked from off the land where you go to possess it. And Yahuwah shall scatter you among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there you shall serve other deities, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone.
And see that? Now, we know that there's a sin if you serving someone else, right? But this is a curse that the Father put on Israel. So, and the reason why this is so prolific to me, because when you come into the truth, your mind be like, man, I got to, get so-and-so. You got to get out of that church. You got to get out of that church. Like when I talk to my brother, man, you got to get out of that. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have the knowledge and understanding, you're going to be subject to that curse.
Yeah. Right.
Huh?
No,
you're going to be subject to that curse. cursed, and this is what's going on with our people specifically.
Yeah.
And the whole world, basically, and that's, I don't got the Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, where they have a nation change their deities. No, they have not changed their deities. Because the whole thing is that when Israel went into captivity, the whole world is in chaos because we are subjected to all this paganism and idolatry and whatnot. But as far as the people, again, on a personal level, we be quick to judge people based off of their ignorance or based off of our righteousness.
Yes.
And that's not what the Father wants us to do.
Right.
So in understanding why people are in these churches right here, it's the curse that he put on us. That's a punishment.
Yeah.
So again, righteous and self-righteous. We have to understand the whole story before we be so quick to judge. Right.
We are not the judge.
Yes, and we're going to read that. Yep. Absolutely. I think we're not going to read that now. Let's go on Rome. No, I'm going to end with that.
Because I hadn't had that one marked, but that was pretty deep right there.
Yep.
It's more like sympathy, It's like once you come into church,
Yes.
you're like, I feel so bad.
Right.
I don't see this.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
But it's not your place either unless YAH makes a calling for you to open their heart to
Right.
it. But you're just beating a dead horse.
Right,
That's
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
And it's sad.
It is. It really is.
It's hard too, it's like we're still growing in the truth.
Yep.
And sometimes I feel like when I did mention to someone, I was still new in the truth. And then I'm like, I could approach it a different way as I continue to grow. So it's better to just pray for that person that, he will open their heart and their mind to the truth than to actually go out and keep telling them this and that.
Yep.
Sometimes I may just say, hey, look at this video and just see how they react to it. If they didn't take it a certain way, then I withdraw.
Right.
I don't say anything else to that person because I feel like they haven't moved to a certain place.
Right.
Because even myself probably wouldn't have been there some
Yeah.
years ago to where I'm like, I don't know about that.
Years ago, right. And you forget that. Exactly right.
So
Right.
I just kind of, when I approach people, I kind of approach them with like kids' gloves.
Right.
And
Right.
not push
Right.
on
Find out
people,
where they
but
at.
just
Exactly.
Like you said, just to find out where they at.
Exactly.
And move forward from there.
Exactly.
Because sometimes you may find some people may, they may recognize certain things. Even like some friends, they may say that, I don't think I should be celebrating these holidays.
Right.
But they're just at that point.
Right.
They haven't moved forward. Or
Correct.
they're still saying, well, I'm just going to continue just for my kids, but I'm really not.
All that, yeah.
Yeah, they'll stop some of it, but not all of it. So all you do is just listen.
Right.
Just listen
Yeah.
to people.
And try to be a light unto others. So when people say, why do you have such a good attitude? How do you come in so perky? And I'm like, my beliefs.
Right. Exactly.
And they're like, well, then that's,
There's a scripture that says that when they ask you about whatever, I don't know where the scripture is. It's one that says just what you just said, because that's exactly what we have to be easily entreated. We have to be easily entreated. You can't people. Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Also, the textbook is that you have to ask in order to receive. Point blank. Yeah. We always go to people, but see, the thing is, the people are not asking.
Right.
Until they get to the point of asking, that's when they're really trying to make that change. Right.
Right.
And at the end of the day, huh?
Yeah, that is true. Sometimes they may ask.
Right.
But I find that when I do tell them, and it's more not getting deep into it, but I'll just answer the question.
Right.
You can tell that they become very, what I'm thinking of.
Curious.
Defensive.
Oh, defensive.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Defensive.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and stand off.
Right.
Well, you just asked, but I wasn't trying to convince you or anything.
Right.
I just answered the question.
Right, exactly.
And I just sit back and I leave it very short.
Right.
Like, well, why don't you go to,
Yeah.
why don't you go to church on Sunday? And I said, well, I believe in a Sabbath, so, I go to Shabbat classes,
Mm-hmm.
or I study the Bible classes on Saturday.
Right.
And then they said, "Well, I just do," and then they go off and
Right.
and I was like,
Right.
"Just answer the question."
Right.
But I don't, and I leave
Right.
it at that. I don't
Right.
not argue with people.
And see,
and
in that case, what you're looking at is right there. You know that you're looking at a spirit. You're not looking at that
Yeah.
person right there, because you see that spirit in the whole so many people. You got to think like, wait a minute now. I have to really work on not taking this personal when people do this.
Right.
Because it's sometimes we like you say, sometimes it feels like they're setting you up sometimes, But, all thing we can do, plant that seed, and like you say, short and sweet. Not no whole full lesson. Because even somebody that's even brand new can walk in here right now, and in their mind they have it, but in their mind they're like, oh man, this is too long for them to be... they're not ready for it,
Right.
like in that manner. It's almost like it's meat, while they still want Shabbat school. I was to say Sunday school, but Shabbat school, huh? Right, or just a simple word. You know what I'm saying? They're not really ready to really get into the nitty gritty just yet.
Yeah, they just need something to keep them going.
Yes,
Step in,
Motivation.
okay.
yeah, right.
motivation.
Right. So that person, they probably come in here and they be like, be here for 10, 15 minutes. Okay, man, I got to go. They might come in next Shabbat and then be a little longer. And that's you can see the growth in people like that, because sometimes we tend to think that, man, they have to have this zeal to want to get all you can. And some people are like that.
Yeah.
But like you say, everybody's not like that.
We had one of the brothers here that was like that. He used to come and he stayed he answered the whole time.
Yeah.
He got his own class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Got his own class.
Right.
He was like up and out the whole time.
Well, they asked me, why you go to service on Saturday? I said, why you go to church on Sunday?
Right.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. It is a good one.
Okay.
Because it's funny how people process it. Because like, oh, you trying to keep the law. But wait a minute, so what are you trying to keep if you're going to church every Sunday? That's it.
Oh, yeah, they have a video that was...
Of Creflo Dollar. Yeah. Creflo Dollar talking about, how do you quote it?
He said you can't keep the law. Oh, man, I can't remember.
He said, y'all all, it's something along the lines of, all y'all that's trying to keep the law, y'all sinning by trying to keep the law.
Right.
Yeah.
He said the devil trying to get you to keep the law.
Yeah, the devil trying to get you to keep the law.
You can't keep the law according to something Paul wrote.
Yeah, right. But that's a new video. He taught that.
Well, hallelujah for us to know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah.
And now at this point that we can repent and try to do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And at the same time, be able to share with people that are subjected to craziness like that.
Yeah.
But absolutely. So let's go into Matthew 19 chapter. This right here is what really created this whole lesson for me. Like, wow. Matthew 19 chapter. And I started here. I was like, okay, yeah.
I lost a friend in New York behind a pastor telling her that people who believe the way I believe are essentially, I guess, sinners. And I lost a friend behind that. He told them not to be around people like me.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
They fly in gold jets and ride around Rolls Royces and checking people's tax bank accounts and paycheck.
Yep.
A lot of them even coming to their church.
Mm-hmm.
So you turn people away because if they're not making the money that you want them to make, so what are you doing?
Yep. Yeah. Hey, concerts ain't free. All right, Matthew 19 chapter. Start this off at the 16th verse.
okay. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, why call you me good? There is none good but one, that is Elohim, or YAH. But if you will enter into life, keep the commandments.
Absolutely. So, a lot of people don't really get this because I think it's kind of deep. But the only reason why, and I'm saying this by permission, that that Yeshua said that to him, because he already identified this dude as somebody that's really trying to portray himself as being perfect. But his perfection was a self-righteous perfection, not a perfection. Just like I would run into people, like even on my Facebook, for instance. That's the reason why I post a lot of stuff that I post on Facebook. I'll be posting crazy stuff because I'm just a crazy person. You see the stuff that I post, right? Crazy, right? But the thing is, though, there are some people that seem like they want to show people that they're so spiritual that they don't talk about nothing else. Nothing else. I used to check people like that. I say, dude, I know, you got other things that you like to talk about besides, because it's just so phony. This is what this dude here to Yahshua.
I don't think to them it's phony though. I don't think they even recognize it. I think it's a double mind that they really. It's almost like a mental condition that they, because when they're with their family and friends, they don't talk about this.
But that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think they. I don't think they consciously.
I cannot stand. I cannot stand.
No,
that.
I know you're right.
I can't
just
stand
don't think they consciously recognize it.
Like, man, I tell the brother, I say, brother, what the Bears gonna do this Sunday? Please tell me what. I mean,
because of the way Christianity and First Day belief has set up pastors or teachers that you guys are like those Catholic priests or whatever. Like they kind of see you guys as the representative. Like the popes, like your little popes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they feel like you guys can't.
She just called you a little pope.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm talking about? Like that's how they see them. And so they feel like they can't do anything.
But anyway, right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that,
They put in a box.
Right.
Like, people put you in a box.
Right.
They feel as though,
Right.
Even for someone they think that they're goody two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to subject them to any type of discussions that may not be appropriate for someone who they think is innocent.
Right.
So it's the same kind of way.
That's the same concept they have.
Yeah. But like you say, when they get with people that they grew up with or something like that, then it's like a kind of a different conversation.
But that comes from First Day.
Yeah. I'm sure it do, but it's just like, so this is what this cat was like. We're like, man, good master, what good things should I do that I may have eternal life? And he like, man, well, first of all, okay, let me check you right off the bat, okay? There is none good but one, that is Elohim. But if thou will enter into life, keep the command. There's so many reasons why Yeshua told him this. He probably told him this like, okay, because you think you good. And so you come to me calling me good master, but I'm letting you know I'm not good. So if I'm not good, right. It's like it was so much stuff that I was able to see just by him saying, because if it wasn't for this person, he would have never told him that. He would have just let it slide and just went on to answer that. But it was like, what good thing must I do that I may have eternal life? I'm seeking eternal life. I want it bad. Verse 18.
And he said unto him, which? Yeshua said, you shall do no murder, you shall not commit adultery.
Yada. Right.
What I always say, chit-chat.
Right, exactly. I'm thinking about Robert Downey answering this, like Iron Man said, you should all right. But that's what he said. He like, look, don't murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Verse 20.
The young man said unto him, all these things I have kept from my youth up. What lack I yet?
So he testified on himself. Right, exactly. Huh? Yes. I've done all this, man. All that you ain't said nothing but a word. Right. We good. Fist bump. Good. Yeah, man. I just wanted to make sure that I was still in the club, that I was in there. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeshua said to him, if you will be perfect, go and sell that you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come follow me.
And the key word there was perfect. Okay, you good, but not perfect? If you gonna be perfect, I tell you what, all that stuff that you got, get rid of it. Lose it. Because you would be better than me, to be honest with you. I'll be calling you good. I'll be calling you good, all right? But that's what you need to do. Go ahead and do that. Read that one more time.
Okay, and Yeshua answered him. And Yeshua said unto him, if you will be perfect, go and sell that you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come follow me.
Right, so anytime somebody comes to me and talking about I'm perfect, whatever, I'm going to say, okay, give me those shoes you got, and I believe it.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. Give me the keys to your house. I believe it. That's exactly what he told him, verbatim. Go ahead.
But when the young man heard that saying, and he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions.
Absolutely.
Then said Yeshua unto his disciples, truly I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of Elohim.
Absolutely. So sometimes we be wishing we had all this riches and whatever, but sometimes the Father already know, hey, you ain't ready for that. You was not ready for that. You was not be keeping, because then I'd be somewhere on the cruise right now, and man, it's been a while since I kept. Right, exactly. Man, let's see, it's been about 3-4 weeks since I kept the Shabbat. You'll be saying to yourself, I really need to get back to keeping the Shabbat. But you don't never get back to it because you done caught up in all this stuff that you done got caught up in. But that's what he mean. You know, he said, hey, verily, like you say, truly I say unto you that a rich man shall, did you read 24? Yep. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Absolutely. And then we ain't got to read about that parable, but I love that. Nah, let's read that anyway. I got time. It's short.
When his disciples heard it, they were exceeding amazed, saying, well, who then can be saved? But Yeshua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Elohim all things are possible. Then answered Kepha and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed you. What will we have therefore?
Okay, I'm sorry. No, I was thinking, I was thinking Luke, the 19th chapter, where he gives a parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, but that's in Luke, but we in Matthew, so we ain't got to read that. Anyway, yeah, but I thought that was just, when I read that, I was like, man, I'm do the whole lesson just on that, because Yeshua check this cat, because cat's talking about, I'm perfect. Me like, look, if you be perfect, I'm going to give you something to do way above those commandments that you doing.
Right. And in my version it says, if you wish to be perfect,
okay,
go sell what you have and give to the poor.
Okay.
And you shall have treasure in heaven.
Wow.
It says, if you wish.
Wow. All right. Let's go to Psalms, the 25th chapter. Yep, Psalm 25.
They turn the air on. It's cold.
You know what? As a matter of fact, we're going to close out on this Psalm 25. So don't go there. I'm sorry. Okay. Don't go there. Let's go into Luke 18 chapter. Oh, y'all love this one here. Luke 18 chapter. This is another great one.
I feel like telling them to turn it off.
All right, Luke 18 chapter, start this at the 9th verse.
Luke 18 and 9.
Let's see if we know any people like this.
Okay. And he spake this parable unto a certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others.
What's that? What's that called?
Self-righteous.
Self-righteous, right? We be so righteous. What's that saying that your mom used to say? You just ain't no. You so heavenly. You
so heavenly bound. You ain't
no earthly good. You never heard that? Oh yeah, that's a saying. So heavenly bound that you ain't no earthly good. This is what these people here, boy. So much that they despise people that just wasn't up on the level that they was at. Yep. Read that one more time.
And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, Elohim, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican standing afar off would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, Elohim, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you this, man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalts himself shall be abashed, and he that humbles himself shall be exalted.
Right. That's it, man.
That's great.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, that's on point right there.
Man. What kind of mindset do you have to stand before the Most High and say, man, I'm so glad you made me better than this person right here.
Right. I'm so glad you ain't made me like this dude right here.
Because that person is surely, you going, with the same brother you talk about, right?
Right.
What you was talking about earlier?
Who? Yo, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Every other sentence was, you going to hell. You going to hell. You will see him teach. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yes.
I do.
I was like, dude, stop saying that all the time. Yeah. You going to hell. They're going to hell. You going to hell. I hope you don't see the lesson. but hey, he created this lesson for me. It was a good lesson. Like, man, bro. Man, don't putting people in hell.
You ain't got a hell to put them in.
Ain't got not now. Absolutely.
Heaven to bring down.
Right. All right. Let's go on to Job, the 15th chapter. We only got a few more plays. Like I said, this is going to be a short one.
Well, and especially if you're a teacher, it's like you wouldn't say stuff like that. You're trying to build people up.
Right.
You give words of encouragement.
But see, here's the sad part about that, though. The sad part about that is that a lot of us, and I ain't going to say us, I'm going to say people in general.
Right.
They like that type of stuff, though, for some reason. They gravitate to drama and stuff like that. I don't, you know, I want to say Israel. The reason why I say Israel, because I know people that I used to fellowship a long time back in the day. This is one particular brother out of Chicago. I used to feel me and him was cool. I even created a website. Yes. I even gave him a domain, Hebrew Israelites.
That was the first one I went to.
Yes, I created, and it's his stuff. His stuff on there because I thought, only reason I did that because we were cool and that he was more extensive in a lot of the Israelite stuff that he had on there than I had on my site.
Right.
Because my site was just the lessons, but he had like historical stuff on there. So I thought, he did some good work. Let me go ahead and do that. So, later on in time, it was another brother living in Maryland. He first came to me and like, brother, let me use your Pal Talk room. My Pal Talk is free. You can use your own room, but he wanted to use mine. And he wanted to open up on Sundays, and he wanted to talk about the Nephilim.
Oh, I'm talking
Right. I'm like, dude, you can't, look, just open up your own room. So the same brother started talking to the other brother, and then he started giving them doctrines, like just talking about how the Nephilim is this, that, and the other. Like, it's only one passage in the scriptures, but they make a whole big thing out of the Nephilim. And then he created another doctrine saying, well, you can't say Elohim.
Yep.
Can't say Elohim. Like we say Israel, even when you spell it out, they spell it out Israel. Which ain't even Hebrew, no kind of way, right? But because when you say Elohim, you call it on a pagan deity, and then the third doctrine is you ain't supposed to keep the feast days outside of Israel, right? Yeah. So when he made those three doctrines the mainstay in his organization, he blew up, up. Like, I'd be in Pal Talk, I could barely get about 3-4 people in Pal Talk. This cat would start getting...
It would be me and Cuz, the only ones in his room.
Right. This cat was getting 250 people, and he had opened up an overflow room, teaching that. And this is somebody that I was close to. He was part of my thing in the beginning. I'm like, man, as soon as he started teaching that falsehood, it blew up.
But was it an aggressive approach too?
Yeah. But and see, that's another thing that they do. What they do is, and I'm not doing this, I'm just using this for example, because I don't teach like that. But when they be quick to put somebody on blast, we love that. We love that. Huh? Yes, we love that.
Yeah.
Well, I can show you I am better than anybody else out there. Everybody comes. But you be humble and you try to just deal with the word, whatever. The people don't want to. People ain't got the patience. Don't want to hear that.
Right.
But you stand up there and make yourself to be this, that, and the other. Oh man, they come.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it is. People are like that. I don't understand that. That's why you think them New York cats got so many people following them.
Yep. I call them Barney boys.
Out there cursing people out in the middle of the street. And yet, I'm convincing people ain't nothing wrong with that. Scripture say, cry out loud and spare not. Paul said he was rude in speech.
Two things, and that's what you're doing.
Right. And both of them taken out of context.
Right, they are taken.
Because the first thing is when he said cry out loud and spare not in Isaiah, he's talking to his people who knew the laws and statutes of the Most High. Not a people that did not know.
Right.
He's talking to a people that knew and refused to be obedient.
Yep,
Big difference. Huh? That's right.
Because righteousness is his house. Judgment is at his house.
Right.
First.
It begins in the household. Absolutely.
His house first.
Right. And then when Paul said he was rude in speech, he ain't saying he was cursing. He just said that he might not be as adept in a language to the Gentiles because he's talking to the Gentiles as they would like him to be.
Curt with his speech.
Right. But that don't mean he was like cursing people out. No, Paul the one that said that he was rude in speech. Right. So if it was any of them that you would think that wasn't cursing, that probably would have been Paul, in my opinion. Because if John would have said he was rude in speech, then he might.
Peter cursed a little.
Any of them. Yeah. But for Paul to say he was rude in speech, no, he wasn't the one that was out there cursing people out.
Because he talked to more Gentiles.
Right. Exactly.
He probably might have been curt, go straight ahead and turn left. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it.
I think it might have been somewhat of a translation dynamic with Paul more so than anything because he's talking to the Gentiles. That might have been it. He might not have been as the Gentiles hear it the same way. For somebody that's not born speaking in that European language, whatever. I don't know, it could have been anyone, but we know it wasn't. He was cursing people out.
I think a lot of people,
offending people.
If I'm looking at it from a city dynamic versus being somewhere else, I know even for New Yorkers, people think that we're rude and we're not. We're just curt.
Oh, okay.
Like we're short with people. We're not going to be.
Yeah. Yep.
It's to the point. Like you say, it's to the point.
You're right. Because some people have said that, when people come from bigger cities, like I was told that one time before, when you come down to the South, people like things more sugar-coated.
Yeah, they do.
So they like sweet.
I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
So
you just tell them that you're just speaking, and I always think of myself as I just tell it like it is. I'm a memo. I call myself I'm a memo reader.
Right.
I'm just stick with the facts. And then other people, they like to be more creative in their words, and so it comes across, a little more pleasing to the ear. So sometimes I had to learn to not just to be so focused on just the job and just sticking with the facts. Sometimes you have to deliver it to where it's more pleasing to the ears and where people may want to receive it.
I agree. That's what I think he meant by rude.
Okay.
My opinion.
Right. But we just know it wasn't disrespectful.
Cursing, no.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Let's go into the book of Job.
We didn't ever read. Oh, okay. Yeah, Job. Yeah. I was gonna say we did.
What's that?
We did. You told us that before.
I did? Oh, okay.
Job 15.
Right, Job 15. That's correct. Job 15 and start this off at the 14th verse.
Okay. What is man that he should be clean, and which is born of a woman that he should be righteous? Behold, he puts no trust in his saints. Yes, the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much more abominable and filthy is man, which drinks iniquity like water.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So he said, look, he don't even put no trust in his saints. And by saints, I guess he mean angels here, because he go down to the men and say, man, how much
heavens are not clean in his sight. Wow.
Absolutely.
Because they fallen.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
They're not clean. Oh, we must be filthy.
That's how we start off in Isaiah 64. Yup, our righteousness is as 50 rags. Absolutely.
See how we look when we born.
Right, coming out of
Come out
filth.
of the womb.
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
goofy and grind,
Yeah, because it did.
grind.
Because I know I saw my son. I was like, "Ooh, what's wrong with him?"
What's wrong with
Why is his ears a
It
different
wasn't a
Right.
picture. I
Right.
was like, that don't look
Right.
good.
Right.
Clean him up. I mean,
Your
They do what they
husband,
do.
your husband had a camera, right? You probably like,
No,
no,
no.
don't, you probably like, don't snap this.
yeah, it was not a pretty sight. But I mean, they cleaned him up, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I was like, "What's wrong with his head?" It was not a cute thing.
I'm sure you tell him that all the time too, don't you?
No, his head's nice now.
Then that's why you tell him that all
Oh
the time.
yeah, well yeah. He knows the story.
Okay. Let's go into Matthew. Matthew 7 chapter. We got just a couple more places after this. Matthew 7 chapter. Matthew 7 chapter, and we start this off at the first verse.
That's a good verse.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Judge not that ye be not judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged, and with what measures you meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why behold you the mote that is in your brother's eye, but consider not the beam that is in your own eye? Or how will you say to your brother, let me pull out the mote out of your eye, and behold, a beam is in your own eye? You hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of your own eye, and then shall you see clearly to cast out the mote out of your brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn again and rend you.
Hallelujah. Remember the sister quote that in 7 Brides and 7 Brothers we watched
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, but absolutely. That's hey, judgment is not given for us to do that. Not in this form that we in anyway. And that's just plain righteous. No, we ought to do it unto others as we would have them do unto us. And not to expect everyone to just be on your level and judge somebody because they're right, not on your level.
And he said, be careful of that anyway, because they can trample you, lest they trample you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go into Romans the 9th chapter. We're going to read a little bit of Romans the 9th chapter and a little bit of Romans the 10th chapter. Matter of fact, it's not Romans the 9th chapter. Romans the 10th chapter. Romans the 10th chapter. Start at verse 1.
Romans 10 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Elohim for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of Elohim, but not according to knowledge. For they, being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Elohim.
Absolutely. And that's basically what it is. We all have our dynamic of what is righteous, but the Father, He shows us what's righteous according to His Spirit. And Spirit is absolutely something that we need to seek, because sometimes we get caught up in letter, but we don't understand the fullness of the letter, which is reflected in how our attitudes are to other people. If my attitude is like just a bad attitude toward people, I shouldn't even be teaching this book, period, because I don't have the attitude, the spirit of the YAH to be able to do this, because people looking at me like, damn, this brother always being mean. He look like, you ain't. It's just people's spirit is just crazy, but they think that that's righteousness and just how they carry themselves. We can't carry ourselves just any kind of way when it comes down to the Most High, and we have to be humble more so than anything.
Right.
Absolutely, if we want Him to be humble to us. It's a really simple dynamic. But sometimes we think that we're so righteous, so it's like, I ain't got to worry about being humble. My righteousness speaks for itself. It's crazy.
Until you stumble.
Huh?
Right.
Right, and that's the scary part right there. Yep, you stumble again. Right. Absolutely.
Some people that they hear something, they're so excited by the word, and then they go out and be zealous, and they're on
Right.
and they got their
the zeal.
the zeal,
And that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, but they may not have all the knowledge.
Right.
And sometimes I had to look back and like, okay, am I telling somebody something right? And it comes back and it's like, wait a minute, I'm still learning. You know?
Right.
So sometimes we have to look at. We want to have that
Right.
but we also want to make sure that we're giving.
Right.
Knowledge, have the knowledge with
Right.
that where we are actually talking to other people.
Right.
That is correct.
And see, that's another thing right there. And just on another thing, I wish I'm glad you said that. Some of us hate to be wrong. And when I say wrong, I don't mean, because I hate to be wrong, but I don't hate to be wrong to the point is that I know I'm right and everything I'm saying is right, and so if you prove me wrong. No, I hate to be wrong to just teach something wrong, but I like to be corrected at the same time. And I like to acknowledge if I'm wrong about something, be like, oh man, because I'm always learning. But some people, you think that, man, they're not learning anything no more because they got it all, everything.
Those are usually the ones that are doing the lectures and not actually having a fellowship.
Right.
Those are the ones that are dictating the class
Right.
as opposed to
Right.
where 2 or 3 are gathered.
Yes.
YAH's in the
Absolutely.
presence, and that's where we all
Absolutely.
we build each other up.
Right.
And this is the whole point of
Right.
what YAH wants from us.
That's true.
They want to be talking instead of listening.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
can't learn from that.
Right.
You can't learn.
Yeah, but just in that whole self-righteous dynamic, it's like, man, it's like you void of correction.
Right.
You know, and not only are you void of correction, but you got people thinking, oh, I know he said something wrong, but guess what, though? I ain't going to correct him. I'm going to let him have it. Most of the stuff he teaches correct anyway, so I think I can overlook that. But that's only because you scared to bring the
Right.
huh? And I know you know people like that, right? That you be like, man, I'm not going to.
And that's the lecture.
Right,
That's the
exactly,
mindset.
right. Yeah, you don't want to have no part of nobody or no group like that. As a matter of fact, I come out of a group like that in Chicago, just like that. It's like, man, and they know they wrong all day long, but because my congregation don't teach this, I don't, you know. I had this one brother. Matter of fact, on this one, just thinking about it, the brother that you met, the one that I told you just moved up there.
Yeah.
Right. And I had did the lesson last Passover about Passover and unleavened bread is one day. It's the same day on that lesson. And I said, hey man, what you think about that? He said, I already know where you're going with that. He said, I already know where you're going with that. You are 100% correct with that. I'm like, really? I said, okay, I'm 100% correct with that, but you don't want to go back to your teachers and tell them that they're doing it wrong, but he don't want to do that. Same thing with the names. They don't want to deal with the names, but yet and still, they be talking about, man, I done slammed that person, I slammed them. I was like, okay, well, slam me then. Debate me about the names. Just look at the whole Jesus thing and get into a formal debate with me about that then. If you want to, you know, but they not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I'm like, well, how could you be a part of something that you know is wrong?
Yeah.
And you scared to tell the people that's so-called teaching you that it's wrong. It's just crazy to me. Because the thing is, out of everything that they teach, whether it's the best thing ever or the worst thing ever, it cancels itself out when you have a spirit dealing with like that.
Yeah.
You know? It just, man, but we subject ourselves to stuff like that. Romans 11 chapter, I ain't want to read this whole thing. I just want to get down to the point. You know what? We can read the whole thing, because this is actually the next to the last place we're going to. Romans 11 chapter, and start this off at verse 1.
I say then, hath Elohim cast away his people? Elohim forbid. For I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Elohim has not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Will he not what the script? What he? Oh,
Right.
Will you know not
Yep.
what the scriptures say of
What you
Elijah?
not? What you not? What the scripture said?
Yeah, what ye not what the scripture saith of Elias? How
How does yours read that?
WOT.
'Cause I think it should say no, not, but it don't say no. That's what makes it confusing.
But I think it should say no ye not
Right.
what the scripture said.
Right.
It says, or do you not know what the scripture says
Right.
of
Right.
Elijah?
I knew that, but I'm just saying. But go ahead.
Know you not what the scripture
Right.
say of Elias, how he makes intercession to Elohim against Israel, saying, Elohim, they have killed your prophets and dig down your altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of Elohim unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed down the knee to the image of Baal. Even so, then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Absolutely. There has always been a remnant according to the election of grace. There has never not been a remnant, regardless. Because people are like, man, I was the first person to teach this, I was the first person, or whatever. My group was the first. He said that there's a remnant. There's always been a remnant according,
at
right.
this present time. Also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Mm-hmm.
And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work.
Mm-hmm.
What then? Israel has not obtained that which he seeks for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, Elohim has given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day.
And see, again, it's important to understand that in the whole New Testament, New Church dynamic, they have replaced Israel with the church. But Paul is letting you know that, hey, the Father have not cast away his people whom he foreknew. He have cast them away physically, and into the captivity, but they're still bounded as his chosen people. He have not cast them outside of the covenant. Okay, and that's what he's telling these Gentiles that basically. But the church that come out of Gentiles, they absolutely like, okay, ain't no more Israel. We're the new Israel. Catholicism is the new Israel. Everything that come out of the Catholicism is part of Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always.
That's heavy. You talking about Israel. That y'all gonna be blinded, and y'all back is gonna be continually bowed down always. Sad, ain't it?
Yeah, that's how they, even in slavery.
That correct. It ain't never changed. It might have changed by degrees, but from a relative dynamic, it's still the same. And it's crazy because he's letting you know that they work hand in hand. You sleep and you bound down your back. Sleep, bound down your back. Israel is asleep as a nation. As long as you sleep, your back is going to be bowed down. Straight up. Go ahead.
Well, that's interesting. I see
Huh?
a lot of people of our, especially of our people, that even walk like that.
Including me, right?
I'm with you in the shade.
She got me last week talking about
I remember you used to do calisthenics and everything.
I think being a truck driver, I think is probably what it is. But I'm gonna get it. Get the wheel. But go ahead.
Get them, Joe Sergeant. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Elohim forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is coming to the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
Right. This is salvation's come to the Gentiles because of our fall. Which, see, That's one of the things I probably have issues with Paul with on that.
Because Abraham, he already said he was going to bless.
Exactly. But again, Paul was speaking from a current dynamic. You see what I'm saying? Because it was in his time that the Gentile. But see, again, this is how you know that Gentiles also is the seed of Japheth.
Okay, how?
Somebody explain what I'm saying. Because, like you just said, there was always converts among Israel, like you just said.
Right.
But in Paul's day, the Europeans were not a part of it at that point.
Right.
So when he said Gentiles, he's talking about Europeans here.
Right.
That's what he's talking about here.
Yeah.
Because in his day, he's seeing the conversion of Gentiles.
Right.
And so he knows say, oh no, that's it, because y'all fell, and that's why the Gentiles are where they at.
Right.
It's kind of like something you would say on the street, even though it ain't really accurate, altogether accurate. It's still like that's why they.
It's almost like the legacy is almost like a king, and they say, well, the throne is going to go to my son and not this son. So if everybody fell from that son on, then they say, well, I'm taking the throne from you all now. I get the throne.
Right.
Right. Me and my descendants since they fell.
Right. And that's basically what he's telling them. Exactly. Go ahead.
Okay. Where was I at? Oh, I'll read 11 again because I don't know if I read it.
Right.
Say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Elohim forbid. But rather, through their fall, salvation is coming to the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be? But life from the dead.
Right. I mean, so basically, like we were saying before, Israel, we were supposed to be the head. Everybody else was supposed to be the tail. But being the head was going to be the head in righteousness. Because everybody's going to learn of YAH through Israel. So the Gentiles were going to learn too. We didn't have to fall for the Gentiles to be saved.
Exactly.
You said that he kind of implies that, but that's what he said. That's not really totally correct. But the thing is that it just so happened that in the time of the Gentiles, they got rulership, and they're going to be beating over y'all head like they were doing in this day, like they still doing to this day. So, we messed up, and now they're where they at. But go ahead.
For if the first fruits be holy, the lump is also holy. But if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, and you, being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partake of the root and the fatness of the olive tree.
Hold that thought for a minute. Also, too, when you hear Israel saying, well, Israel is the chosen people, people have issues with that. But when you look at church, basically the Romans are the chosen people, because everything that the church got come out of Roman Catholicism. So the whole world don't have a problem when you see this dude right here and he's called Pope. But you respect that. But you say Israel is the chosen people, there's a problem. It's just like what he was saying. Why you go to church on Saturday? Well, why you go to church on Sunday? In that mind, it's automatic. What you mean why I go to church on Sunday?
Everybody goes to church.
Same thing with that. Israel, the chosen people. Wait a minute. But that's the Pope. Oh, yeah, that is the Pope. Absolutely. So you got a problem with Israel being the chosen people.
But you don't have a problem with the Roman Catholic.
Right. You don't have a problem with the Roman Catholic and the Vatican being where they at. It's like, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? People don't really think like that in terms of that. But go ahead.
18. Boast not against the branches, but if you boast, you bear not the root, but the root you. You will say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and you stand by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. For if Elohim spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not you.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of Elohim on them which fell, severity, but toward you goodness, if you continue in his goodness. Otherwise you also shall be cut off. And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For Elohim is able to graft them in again. For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree?
Absolutely.
For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. And so all Israel shall
And
be
this
saved.
26th verse is really the reason why I'm reading this, in case y'all was wondering, but this is the 26th verse. Go ahead.
Okay. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away unrighteousness from Yaakov.
Absolutely, because that's part of the everlasting covenant. When you read about the everlasting covenant in Jeremiah 23rd chapter, Jeremiah 31st chapter, he said the same thing. He's going to turn away the unright. He's going to clean up the people, clean us up. So no matter how perfect that we think we are,
You still got some cleaning to do.
still got some cleaning to do at the end of the day. Still got some cleaning to do. So again, this is not a lesson to say, oh, well, you don't want to try to be perfect. We absolutely do have to try to be perfect. The thing is, we have to understand what the true perfection is.
Maturity.
Right. Exactly. And that's the problem. We think that the perfection is just simply, not eating pork, keeping the Sabbath day, not committing adultery. That's just like he told them, oh, you did those things when you youth up. Okay, but if you want to be perfect, you need to change that attitude of yours, basically. Change that attitude, basically. Right. Really have
Because
the
self-righteousness and it really is an immaturity. It is an immaturity.
Right. It is. That's right.
It's an immature spirit.
Absolutely. Yep. So for the most part, that was the lesson: righteousness or self-righteousness. And we're going to close out in Psalms, the 25th. Psalm 25th, and you can start at 1.
Unto you, O Yahuwah, do I lift up my soul.
Now, if we was in our own place, we would all be reading this together, but we can't because we're in the library. Go ahead.
O my Elohim, I trust in you. Let me not be ashamed. Let not my enemies triumph over me. Yes, let none that wait on you be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Show me your ways, O Yahuwah. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the Elohim of my salvation. On you do I wait all the day. Remember, O Yahuwah, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to your mercies, remember you me for your goodness' sake, O Yahuwah. Good and upright is Yahuwah, therefore he will teach sinners in the way.
Mm-hmm.
The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way.
Absolutely, because meekness is the doorway to that perfection, actually. Ain't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All the paths of Yahuwah are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. For your name's sake, O Yahuwah, pardon my iniquity, for it is great. What man is he that fears Yahuwah? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose.
So again, this is the words of David, who the Father called perfect, a man after the Father's own heart. But he said, verse 11, for your name's sake, O Yah, pardon mine iniquity. So he didn't walk around and say, I am perfect.
Right.
And then he said it's great.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Wow. What man is he that fears Yahuwah? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose. His soul shall dwell at ease, and his seed shall inherit the earth. The secret of Yahuwah is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes are ever toward Yahuwah, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. Turn ye unto me, and have mercy upon me. For I am desolate and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. O bring you me out of my distress. Look upon my affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins. Consider my enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with cruel hatred. Keep, O my soul, and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in you. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on you. Redeem Israel, O Elohim, out of all his troubles.
And again, he talked about his enemies. Now a man of his disposition really shouldn't have enemies. But sometimes, people just really, it's kind of like that, like a nerd in school or whatever, right? That people pick on him because he's not running with the crowd or for whatever reason. So he said, because he shouldn't have any enemies. But he said, I got many enemies.
And with cruel hatred.
Right, with a cruel hatred. And what they got? Why they hate him cruelly? He haven't done anything evil towards them.
But sometimes when people see that you're living differently than they are, then they kind of turn from you, or they start to reject you in a way.
It's a
And
spirit.
I was thinking that.
So you kind of start noticing that.
Yep.
People start leaving you alone. You're like,
Yeah.
why doing it now?
Yeah.
That's a hard.
Exactly. Yeah. And them people's own testimony just that. Like, I don't know why I don't like that person. I don't know why. Right, you heard that. I know you did. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I heard people saying about me, like, and whispering and stuff.
Right.
I just don't like it. I don't know what it is.
But I changed my ways about that.
That's okay. I still don't like you either.
Can't win for winning. All right, but anyway, that's the lesson. May Yah add a blessing to the reading of his word.
Hallelujah.
In Yahshua's name, hallelujah.